In this video at Tobacco University, we're going to be investigating crime scene questions, kind of the what, the who, the where, the when, the how, and the why involved with crime scenes. Well, starting with who did it, that first and initial, some people consider the most important question. But we want to be mindful that could be one person or there could be multiple people involved. When we're considering who did it, we may also want to consider who may have a motive to commit such a crime. Then we get into, what happened? So do not make assumptions, and this is kind of easier said than done. Sometimes items may be rearranged to try to provide a misdirection for the investigator. So that's why it's important to be looking at the details and not make assumptions when trying to answer what may have happened at the particular crime scene. Then where did it happen? So in this here, or is there another location that might be involved? Just because you're identifying something at one particular location, there could be another one involved. The actual act may have occurred in one area, and then there could have been the transportation of the body, for example, to another physical location. So where did it happen may not necessarily be the exact location where the body is found. Then when did it happen? So that all-important time factor. Knowing the time of death can help try to pinpoint the details of the critical 1 to 2 hour time frame before death. So this is kind of that crucial time, that 1 to 2 hours, what can be established, how much details can be gotten about that particular time just before death can really help explain or provide some great information regarding to the crime scene that they're investigating. And then how did it happen? So what specific items were used in this scene? Sometimes a knife may seem obvious, but less likely items can be used, such as a golf club or extension cord or something that may have been just lying around the house, depending on the act that was created. So don't think it's always the knife. I'm looking for a gun. I'm looking for something like that. It could be simple household items can become very vital evidence in crime scenes. And then why did it happen? So this can often be a perplexing question. Getting at the motive is not always the main goal, but this can play into the recreation of a scene. Was there an argument before the murder had occurred, for example? Is there potential financial incentives for one individual to help explain potentially why did such a crime happen? Then who was or were the victims? So in this example here, do they have anyone connections with? Where were they 1 to 2 hours before their death? So this is kind of that critical time. Once we establish the time of death for an individual, try to get as much information around them in that last 1 to 2 hours, because that can really help pinpoint or eliminate certain potential suspects when we're looking at the victim at hand. And then what evidence is there? So keep in mind that the goal is to help to prove the motive in the crime. Be sure to document images and sketch the scene. These are important aspects. So we're not necessarily looking at documenting or making notes to answer these questions. Hopefully through our investigative process, we'll collect the data and information so that as later in investigation and looking at the crime scene, these questions can be answered. And just kind of that overall summary there of, those questions to just keep in mind. Again, who did it? What happened? Where did it happen? Keep in mind, it could be here where you found the body, or it could be another location involved. When did it happen? How did it happen? Why did it happen? Who were the victims? And what evidence is there to help prove the motive of that crime? All of these questions should hopefully be answered with the proper forensics techniques and crime scene analysis and evidence collection.